press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2. To speak to customer service, press 3.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody.
Alt Radio.
We're going to do something a little different this evening. Shalom, family. You know, it's been a crazy, crazy day. And if you look in the description box, we're going to be on the air, and I'm going to be taking your phone calls tonight. So the call-in number is area code 657-383-0327. And we're going to talk about the mass shooting that took place out in Las Vegas, 10 o'clock last night. Hello, family. Good to see everybody out here. Just look in the description box if you're interested in calling in, and let's just chop it up a little bit about what happened today. And yes, I got hit with a lot of trolls, and I can tell you it was a learning experience. It just goes to show you how many cockazoids were listening to my videos all this time. And that video that I put out, where I put them on blast about always talking about, you know, especially Black people being the most violent, brought them out of the woodwork. And I'm glad it did, because for the first time, I was able to identify the ones that have been trolling me all along. And believe it or not, a lot of them were subscribed to me, literally following me. So it was a beautiful thing that they all came out like roaches. And I got to block them all. So it was a good thing. And it just goes to show you how they're so interested in what Black people have to say and how we feel. Now, for people that are supposed to be just 13% of the population, they seem to be very concerned about how we feel and the things that we say. You ever notice that? That's how I know we are way bigger than what we're being told. If we were so small, why would you be concerned about such a small group of people? It makes no sense. Makes no sense, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're interested in talking, I would love to hear from you. You know, it would be nice to hear some of your voices. But tell me, yeah, that's how I feel, Nubia Niani. Fuck the trolls. Seriously, screw them. And you know what was the funny part about the whole thing? When they were trolling my channel earlier this morning, I kid you not, they all practically said the same exact thing. It was nothing different, nothing unique. It just goes to show you when they go on the defense, how they stay on code. And they don't break that code. They stay on code. Even if they all sound stupid, they all stay on code anyway. But it's a beautiful thing. I'm just glad I know who they are. And, you know, there's no turning back. Yeah, they walk in lockstep. And the thing is, it's no point in talking to one, because if you talk to one, you really spoke to all of them. What's the difference? If you talk to one, you talk to them all, because they have nothing unique to say. They all said the same thing, that he was not a terrorist. And I was like, okay, so when all those people hit the ground and they were trying to run for cover, they weren't feeling terrorized, And then another thing they were saying was, oh, he was just a shooter, not a terrorist. Now, how dumb was that? And of course, they blame me for racism. Yeah, I was the one perpetuating racism for centuries in America. They can try to deflect that mess all they want. There is nobody that have been practicing racism, white supremacy, as long as they have on this earth. They can't transfer that onto no one. Yeah, I guess it does, Dark Star. I guess it does. Yeah, they insist that he was not a terrorist. If not a terrorist, then what the hell is he? A shooter? What is a shooter? Okay. Well, those people were awfully scared and looked terrorized by the shooter. So I just thought that was interesting. And you know what the sad part is? It now takes the shift off of what was going on with the NFL and even Puerto Rico. I mean, they have just completely ignored Puerto Rico, and those folks are down there starving to death. Exactly. They will handle the whole situation with kid gloves. We all know this. It's the usual thing that we have seen over and over and over. And then a couple of them, well, there haven't been a shooting since Dylan Roof. That's a damn lie. If you remember earlier in the spring, you had the shooter out there on the baseball field down there in, what was it, Virginia? And I remember even on the same day, there was another shooting, I think in Oregon at a FedEx. So no, it's not just the one shooting. It's been multiple shootings, multiple. Well, yeah, the usual. Oh, he was a bad apple, lone wolf. He acted alone. Oh, he was a trouble. He had a troubled past. Oh, he's mentally ill. Oh, everything was wrong with him. But, they don't accept any of those reasons from Black people. So why should we accept that from them? Yeah, and they said he was like 80 miles away from where he lived. He actually lived in Nevada. And he probably started shooting after listening to that terrible country music and decided he was fed up and just started shooting everybody. But it's amazing how the media not one time called this guy a terrorist. Not one time did they do it. He was never referred to that way. Nobody called him a thug. No one said he was a terrorist. It was just the usual, like everybody is saying, handling him with kid gloves and being careful with their words when talking about him. No, they can't. And I think that's why the Black Lady of Chaos and Havoc, that's why they came to my channel coming on so strong, because they can't control the narrative like they used to because of social media. And actually social media put the news out a lot quicker than mainstream media now. So no, hi Running Stream, we they have no control, and that's part of the problem. They can't control the narrative. So if you put something out there about them being violent, they get all upset. Oh, when I put out my video putting them on blast, I got called all kinds of niggers. But see, I don't care about that. That doesn't affect me. They're wasting their time. Yeah, well, the funny part is, speaking of the sun, I was putting everything together on my other channel into playlists. And I got to the sunburn stuff. And I realized, how much they are really, really looking for ways to darken themselves up. And then I came across that freak of nature, that, what's that woman, the one that's getting those melanin injection, Marlena Big, I think her name is. And she was talking about every 3 months, she has to go back to her doctor to keep the melanin injections going, because it actually starts fading after about 3 months, she said, and she got to keep going back and getting the injections. Well, you know what? You know what it is, Dark Star Transmission? They look bad to the entire world. See, the bottom line is they went all over this globe telling everybody that the Black people were so terrible. The Black people were so violent. The Black people are just, oh my God, we're the worst thing that ever happened, right? But through the years, and it's not just me that noticed this, even when I go on to the foreign sites and look at the foreign news, they say the same thing. They keep talking about Blacks being violent, but every time you see violence in the news, it's them. If it's not the police shooting, it's one of them, or they're killing each other. Or you got these mass shooters. Or there's some pedophile. Or there's some white guy raping a woman. It's always them. Every time you see something violent and heinous in the news, it's always their face, but they keep insisting it's Black people, and it's getting pointed out. In fact, I went on Russia Today. Even the Russians were telling them, nope, every time we see violence, it's you white people. It's you white people. And of course, they were getting mad, but it's the truth. I kid you not, the next time there's a shooting of a Black man, or a shooting or any kind of mass shooting, just always take notice. The shootings are always them. Well, they're looking for any kind of war, whether it's a war abroad or a race war at home. They're looking for any kind of war. And the way their numbers are declining, I would think they can't even afford to be in a war and lose people. They're not reproducing worth a damn. No, in fact, they would have named him right away and talked about his rap sheet or his mental health, or plastered the Black man all over the damn TV all day and all night. Well, the beginning, they need to get out of the military and use their knowledge to protect the Black community. If you're going to be of use and you got military training, be of use to your community. Dark Star Transmission, I don't think they got the guts to blow this planet up like that. They may talk all that shit, but you're talking about the most cowardly people to ever live. Well, yeah, S. Wiseman, I wasn't even paying them any mind. In fact, I was laughing at all their posts because they were generally saying all of the same things. Well, you can't, this is what divides everybody. I'm not doing nothing to divide a damn soul. Your division, the divisions in America started centuries ago. It didn't start because I opened my mouth. Yeah, they get practically everything from Africa. Almost everything you touch in your house came from Africa. Europe don't have no damn resources. If Africa cut them off, they would be doomed. They've been just playing mind tricks on everybody for centuries. And the ones that are awoke will be fine. Unfortunately, the ones that are asleep or refuse to see these people for the evil that they show, those are the ones that are doomed. It is no waking up a coon. I'm sorry, it's just no waking them up. You know what? I don't think, I think they're too cowardly to do it. Dark Star, I hear what you're saying, but I believe they are too cowardly to do anything like that. Yeah, I don't think so. I think America will get nuked by another country, or one of America's allies will get nuked. Because unfortunately, we got Trump in office, and Trump just offends everybody and he doesn't care. Look, dark transmissions, you know what? They're too scared to fight a ground war. Look how long, even over in Iraq and Afghanistan, how long they have done airstrikes. They're petrified of getting down on that ground and doing a real battle with a country. They would prefer to be up in the air and dropping a whole bunch of bombs down on poor people. Yeah, but it's going to fail because now, yeah, they have been using the military for a long time to stay on top. But a lot of countries, if you notice, are coming back at Trump very strong. And you can see North Korea. Hello, D. North Korea is not even afraid of them. Look at how that man comes right back at him. Trump has threatened him several times about doing those bomb tests, and he's still firing those bombs off like he didn't hear nothing Trump said. It's just, with Trump in office, it's like anything goes. Seriously, you don't know how he's going to be from one day to the next. Well, see, you know why we got so many coons? Because they think being a coon, they're in on the winning side. See, they see the Caucasoid as the winning side of things, and it really isn't. It's really the destruction side of everything. The beginning, I read that Trump had filed another bankruptcy just before he ran for president. And see, there's a reason why he don't want his finances released. He don't want it. And Russia was involved in him winning. We know that. And he knows it too. He doesn't want it out there. Yeah, too many are. I agree. Too many, too many of our people are coons. That is the truth. He's hiding a lot of things. Dark transmission. He's hiding a lot of things. This is why Trump is such a pathological liar. He's not a pathological liar for no reason. There's a lot of things in that man's closet he doesn't want revealed. I wouldn't be surprised the beginning if they do have tapes on him. It wouldn't be shocking. Yeah. But you know what? This society actually makes it easy for a white male to get a gun and go shooting because they do everything they can in the legal system not to criminalize a white man. Hi, Em. They do everything they can not to criminalize them. So what do you think he's going to do? All you need is one that's a little off balance with a gun, and they want to go on a killing spree. These people, they get off on killing. We've seen this all throughout the history, even going back to the lynchings and burnings and all the heinous stuff they've done to our people. They have a bloodlust for killing. Always have. Shoot, when we weren't even around them up in those caves, they were killing each other. This is just their nature. Yeah, I heard his speech. I can't listen to Trump. He makes my stomach turn. I read what he said, and I watched maybe 3 minutes of his speech, and I had to turn it off. I seriously can't watch that man. It's very difficult for me to watch him. You know what? The Black Lady of Chaos and Havoc, let them do it. Let them do it. I'm not crying over the fact that they killed each other. My issue with them is them keep pointing the finger at everybody else, talking about, oh, Black people are violent. Like our violence matches theirs. Our violence in the Black community don't come nowhere near all of the violence they have been perpetuating in America since they've been here. We don't come close to it. But see, the problem is when they start talking about Blacks are the most violent, we have not pushed back hard enough. And that's why they continue to say that shit to us. And that's really our fault. When they get on the roll talking about Black violence, and then what made me laugh is a couple of them when they came trolling me talking about Chicago. Like Chicago is compared to 58 people getting shot and 500 people getting injured from one gunman. Like that is some comparison. Give me a break. It's no comparison at all. But this is the kind of ridiculous mess they want to say to Black folks. It's no comparison at all. You know, and they have gotten away with this for far too long, ladies and gentlemen. They've gotten away with it for too long. And when they got on that Blacks are the most violent, we should have put our foot down and started reminding them of their past and letting them know we didn't lynch thousands and thousands of white folks in this country. We didn't burn them alive. We have never mass shoot them. We didn't do all that shit. But look at all of their mass shooters and mass killers. You know, and you had that crazy guy that went into the movie theater and shot up the place. And he ended up, I think, killing a whole bunch of people and injuring like 70, almost 100 people. Give me a break. They got that kind of history. We don't have that. Yeah, they were kind of trying to compare the mass shooting to Chicago and black on black crime. Get the hell out of here. Even on a bad weekend in Chicago, it don't match what this guy went out there and did. Give me a break. Yeah, you damn right most mass shooters are white, Maestro K. Damn right. And it's said that most of those shootings ain't even done by Black people. They believe those cops are going in there doing all those mass shootings in Chicago. And I believe that. It sounds like something they would do. I mean, and you're not even talking about thousands that they killed during Black Wall Street and burning down 68 Black towns in America. But we're just as violent as them, but we have no track record like that. Black people don't have no track record like that in this country. You know, it's a bunch of bullshit. And like I said, we have put up with it for far too long. We should have been really pushing them back and giving them hell when they come talking all that violence crap. They have no right to get in anybody's face on this planet talking about how violent they are and look at their track record. Give me a damn break. All right. You're right, the beginning. That's why they're dying out. The world no longer needs a racist. There is no need for them to even exist on the earth anymore. What use do we have going into the future with a racist? Get out of here. We don't need them like that. Yeah, you know, and what happened in Las Vegas is a plague. But, you know, be grateful they took it out on their own and a lot of Black people weren't out there getting shot at. Because when I looked at that crowd was predominantly Caucasoids. I really didn't see that many of our people out there. I might have saw one in a picture, but that was it. I didn't see a lot. It shouldn't. I wouldn't picture too many Black people at a country western concert like that. Yeah, she just walked in. No, Black Lady of Chaos and Havoc, the devil eats his own vomit. That's what it should really say. The devil eats its own vomit. You know, this is amazing. But, you know, here we are. And The bottom line is, no matter how bad they try to deflect on this, they can't put nothing that happened today on us. Nothing. Well, even country music, CJ, was stolen from us. That came from us. They didn't create country music. Black people did. All of it's ours. Every single different genre of music is ours. All of it's ours. Yeah, it would be nice, Craig Jarrett, but we know that's not going to happen. They'd rather burn out in the sun and die than go back to those caves. Yeah, there was one coon in the picture, Stan McGinnis. Yes, and I saw him too. Probably was there with some white woman. What can you say? Yes, that's right. J Dog 88. It was stolen. That was actually our music. Just like rock and roll was ours too, and they stole that. This devil don't come up with nothing original. Are you kidding me? But yeah, every last one of them. Well, why are you bringing up race? Why are you bringing that up? You've been bringing up race for centuries. Okay. You know why? Because they knew this all reflected bad on them. But my point is, I wanted to let them know you've been running around here talking about blacks are violent, but then just notice every time you see any kind of violence where it involves shooting in the news, it's always some white face you see. It ain't our face, it's their face. And it just go to show you, you can give these people white privilege. They can have every advantage and they're still miserable and will go out here and mass shoot people and then turn the gun on themselves. And there's nothing you can do to cure that. You know what? Dark Star Transmissions, that is actually going to step up in the last days. You know why? Because they can't have children with their own women. Okay, they can't. And I think when we get closer and closer to the end, they're going to start trying to date black people in numbers you never seen before. They can date other people, but it's our DNA that they really want because we have the strongest amount of melanin. See, right now they're trying to figure out ways to keep themselves here. It's going to fail. We know that, but they're going to try to use black people in the end, thinking it's going to save them. And I say, don't save them. Unfortunately, you're not going to talk the coonettes and the coons out of being with them, but stay away from them. Today should let you see they are a cursed people, very cursed. CJ, I got two very large bottles of wine. I said, when something major jumps off, I'm going to pop them babies open and I'm going to drink the hell out of those bottles. Yeah, well, they've been doing that for quite some time. Dark Star Transmission. When I grew up in Philadelphia, there was a black homeless man found in an abandoned house. And when the police found him, all of his organs were gone. And so somebody lured him into this abandoned house over in Philadelphia. And then when they got him in the house, they took everything, his organs, his eyes, they took everything, literally took everything out of his body and left his corpse in this abandoned house. Oh, well, just sit back because these shootings are going to happen again. And you saw it got mostly them, and it will continue to be that way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you remember, there was a group of mercenaries that were trying to take a whole bunch of Haitian children off of the island and got caught. But that's all they wanted those Haitian children for, organ harvesting. Speaking of that, they had Kanika Jenkins' funeral, I think yesterday. You can see some of the pictures online. I believe they had her funeral yesterday because, I saw some pictures of her mother in a church with a bunch of people. I think they said like 1,000 people showed up. Yeah, well, there was a ring of them that got caught here in New Jersey, and they were Jews, and they were harvesting organs. Yeah, they are Edomites. Although they try to act like the Jews are something else, and Jews are white people. Okay, they are white people. Naomi, honey, you need to get your cave ass off of here. Nobody is interested in talking to you. Please get off of here. Let me block your ass. Thank you. That's the problem with these old cave bitches. They think they turn everybody on, and they really don't. Hi, Lala. 324. Now, see me, I love myself some Mugabe. Mugabe said, he pisses them off. Mugabe said, no black will go to jail for killing a white. I love him. Woo, now we can get the rest of those leaders over in Africa to do the same thing, then they can probably liberate Africa. Yeah, right. Definitely the drug plague. Absolutely. That is definitely something that's taking them out by the thousands. And the thing is they're lowballing the number, the beginning. They are lowballing their number on how many are dying every day. Because let me tell you something, the people that are taking meth and dying, they're not even counting them in the drug number. So that just go to show you how shady they are with revealing the real true numbers of people that are dying on drugs. They're never going to reveal the true numbers. Believe me, the number we're getting is way lower than what it really is. Oh, yeah, I know they made attempts on him. In fact, they're waiting for him to die because they think once he's gone, they're going to be able to go in there and colonize Zimbabwe, but they're not going to be able to do it because Mugabe already appointed people to take over Zimbabwe, and they already promised him they're going to continue to keep the whites out of there. So, it's going to be a situation just like Fidel Castro. America thought they were home free once he died, but if you paid attention to the news over the last few days, the American and the Canadian diplomats just left out of Cuba because somebody is attacking them and they don't know who's attacking the people. They're using some type of sonic technology, and a couple of the American diplomats have gone deaf, lost their hearing permanently, permanent hearing loss from something they're doing to those diplomats over in Cuba. And they just got them all out of there. But see, I love Mugabe. Not only did he run them out of there, he took their land, he took their businesses, he froze their bank accounts. He really screwed them over bad. So it's more than just the farmland. He not only took their farmland, he froze their bank accounts and took their money. I wish he would do something to make it easy for, how Ghana and Benin offered land to Black people if we came back to Africa. I wish Mugabe would offer something like that. I think if he did, I would seriously think about getting dual citizenship. I really would. Hi, Jalen. Angel to some, trolls to others. Well, who's a troll? Yeah, he really has, CJ. He's let the world know he's not afraid. I cracked up one day. This was probably a couple of years ago. There was a video out there, and he was calling Tony Blair over there in the UK a fag. He said Tony Blair was a fag. Oh my goodness. Well, he's not doing anything for Puerto Rico. It's sad, but they learned the hard way about Trump. They're learning what we have known, the Black community has known for a long time about him. Well, first of all, I wish that when Nelson Mandela got out, one thing he did, he met with whites. When he took over that country, I wish he would have just put his people first. And he was still too concerned about the whites that were there in South Africa. And I think that's where he kind of went wrong. He should have put the South African Black people first. After all the oppression that they went through, that was the least he could have done. Yeah, they're definitely the chickens have definitely come home to roost for the Puerto Ricans. Absolutely. No, the US Virgin Islands, Lala 324, Trump claims he's going to Puerto Rico tomorrow, and while he's there, he's going to stop over to the US Virgin Islands. And from what I understand, the Virgin Islands aren't really doing that much better than Puerto Rico, but all of the publicity is on Puerto Rico. But they're struggling too. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, come on, look who the guards were. Look who all the guards were. Because they Huey Khalid X, because they allowed the Caucasoids to go in there and colonize them. There are certain places that would not allow them to colonize. That's why they hate them. And that's the Ethiopians and the Somalians. If you notice, they always focus on the Somalians because, see, Somalia did not allow the Caucasoids to come in there and colonize them. Whenever they hate a country, go look at the history. And that's why they don't like them. And they're always, oh, well, the Somalians and they're terrorists, and oh my God. And then they tried to do that Black Hawk Down thing that turned into a disaster, because every time they tried to go in there and colonize them, the natives in the land would kill the white people off and run them out. So they were never successful in colonizing certain places in South Africa. I mean, certain parts of Africa, they just could not colonize. Yeah, a lot of them are being killed, and many of them are living poor side by side with the Black people now. That, since apartheid is over, many of them can't get jobs. They're not doing well in South Africa at all. Just maybe a few, not that many. But, they're struggling with a drug problem in South Africa too. Well, see, one thing they do have set up, J-Dog 88, Blacks have to be employed first. They did set that kind of system up. That's the one advantage that Black people have in South Africa now. And in fact, you can watch some of the videos on that. Whenever there are jobs, it has to be offered to the Black South Africans first. That's why so many of the white people that are in Africa are now unemployed. They need to just go back home where they came from. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? With all this stuff going on, that's the one thing we need to do. We need to put us first and not worry so much about everyone else. We seize the opportunity to put things in place that's going to work for us, where we can do things separately, and not just keep talking about it. We actually do it. I like a lot of the ideas that Daryl has with the black spot. He wants to take it well beyond just the black spot. He wants to take some of the earnings that he will make and buy up a whole bunch of land so that we can, do housing and businesses. And I think that's an outstanding idea. That's why I'm really strong in supporting him. Those are the kind of things that we got to focus on doing. Yeah, well, you know what, Kay Gigney, we're valuable dead or alive. Seriously, we're the most valuable people dead or alive. And it's not just our melanin. I realize the melanin is 350 a gram. I've read about that. But just us in general, we are the most valuable people dead or alive on this earth. Yeah, I believe that too, Lala 324. I believe they are stealing our melanin, our organs, and anything else they can get their hands on. I mean, everything about, look, they're recessive beings. Everything about us is just so much better than them. It's a fact. And that's part of the reason why they are dying out, because they're recessive and they have some jacked up genetics. Their genetics are failing. That's why they can't reproduce. I mean, it's a fact. Well, I think they should continue to protest. And as far as the NFL, I think they should continue to protest. And I hope if things don't improve and they keep killing us, that they eventually walk completely off the field and just shut down the NFL, because they can't run that sport without the black athletes at all, including the NBA. I mean, let's face it, if it wasn't for the black athlete, it would be no sport at all. Yeah, it's been low for some time. You know, um, I did a video on how they're going over to East Germany for surrogate mothers, the white couples, because they can't have children. And these are couples from America that are going to East Germany trying to get a surrogate to have their baby. They can't do it. Like I said, their genetics are just so screwed up now. They can't reproduce worth nothing. Yeah, well, Ms. Misner Park, I don't pay them any mind. You know, first of all, once you show me you don't have our best interests at heart, then I don't have theirs at heart either. So I don't pay them no mind. That's why when they were firing at me this morning with all their, oh, how could you bring race into it? You're playing the race card. Oh, this guy didn't do this for racist reasons. Why are you trying to blame white people? I just erased all that stuff and didn't give it a second thought. I got all that trolling mess out of my comment section. And like I said, they all say the same thing. It's like listening to a skipped record. Yeah, they didn't get it from insects. They're not going to tell you the truth, Kay. I can tell you that right now. You're never going to get the truth. And they're so recessive. Even if you give them our melanin, they have to keep going back and get more. Look at that. I think Marlena Biggs. She said she got to go every 3 months to her doctor to get more of those melanin injections, or she goes right back to her normal white skin. So she goes right back to being pale if she don't go there in 3 months. Now you think she looks crazy. Even I think her boyfriend is getting the melanin injections. You should see how crazy he looks. Really? What did they build in Europe? Because if you're talking about a lot of those old structures there, a lot of that was put there by the Moors. Yeah, and you gotta, and also the Mount Seir, the Caucasus Mountains, they're caves. All those caves, that's really their only monument on the earth. If you want to call that a monument, I don't really consider it one. I mean, everything they have in America, they got off the backs of black people. They didn't earn nothing. They didn't earn a damn thing here. All of it came from our ancestors, and they just completely took everything and cut us out of everything. Okay, they're gone. What impressive thing. They didn't build anything over there. What do you expect? Because, the beginning, because their lives are boring and they have nothing to do. And plus, it goes back to the video I did on the slave codes. They think they have the right to show up wherever Black people gather. And unfortunately, even in the cyber world, they think they have to come among us and be the slave overseer. They do it in person and they do it online. They think this is what they have to do. And they think it's their right to come and show up wherever Black people gather. No, in fact, Kay, it's a good thing you brought that up. I did a video on that, how there are a lot of child-free European women now, more than ever before. Many of them never been married and never had children, and it's a lot of them over there in Europe now. Well, yeah, it almost drives them, Hewley, Khalid X, it drives them crazy if they don't know what we're doing or what we're saying or what we think. Now, on one hand, they don't want you to have an opinion. They don't want Black people to speak their minds. On the other hand, they want to know what you think. They always fear that we're plotting against them and we're going to come after them. So it's like, on one hand, they don't want you to say nothing, but on the other hand, they want to know what you're saying just in case you're plotting against them. It's crazy. I don't have time for that. And they wouldn't feel all that paranoia if they weren't doing everybody on this damn planet wrong. Well, I don't include them in nothing. I don't. And I will continue not to include them in anything. I do the opposite. I don't include them in nothing. And I don't feel bad about it at all. Well, you know what? The fact that they want our melanin and they want our body parts, that tells you right there, they want to be us. They want to be us, period. And they just can't. But, unfortunately, we have too many coons among us that are more than willing to invite them everywhere among our people. And that's a problem. I remember even when I was a teenager, we were having a cookout, just a bunch of us teens together, and we were just having a good time. Didn't one of the guys show up? Hey, my greatness inside of me. Shalom. We were having a cookout, and it was just a bunch of Black teens, and it was summertime, and we were just getting together, having a good time and everything. And all right, is there someone on the line? Is there someone on the line? Okay. All right. And where was I? Okay, we were at this pool party and we were having a good time, and it was just Black teens and we were having fun. Didn't one of the cooning guys, teenage guys, Black guy, show up with some white girl? And we all looked and was like, you just had to bring some cave bitch up in here. And we were having a good time. And it was all like, we all turned around and we were just nodding our head. It just had to kill the moment. Yeah, and not only that, in Spain, a lot of the houses there were built by the Moors. In fact, they were saying a lot of times when those old homes go up for sale, the ones that were built by the Moors in Spain, they literally fight over those homes when they go on the market. So that just go to show you the quality of our work can stand the test of time. Here it is centuries later, and people are still fighting over the homes that were built by the Moors in Spain. So what does that tell you? You know what, CJ, that's right. You ever notice when they copy off of us, as soon as they start doing something, it just kills the whole thing? Or if they try to talk the same slang that Black people talk, when they start saying it, it gets corny. Oh, yeah, the Moors ran Europe for 1,300 years. You know, they have not lived, um, Dark Star Transmission, they have not lived um, on this earth without relying on the dark races. Even in Europe, it was the Moors that had to step in because they were so savage over in Europe, and the Moors had to go over and actually straighten the whole thing out and run Europe. And then, of course, when they came over here to America, what did they do? They went to get Black people to build up their country because they couldn't do it. And it's a fact that white people did not work when Black people were in chattel slavery. It's recorded history. They did not work. And see, it only makes sense that inventions came from Black people because the Black people were doing the actual work. And when they came up with the inventions, they were just trying to make the workload easier for them to do. It wouldn't make sense for people that were not doing the work to come up with all the inventions. They weren't doing no work. Why would they come up with any creations or inventions? It makes no sense. It makes plenty of sense that it came from the people that did the work. No, they didn't do anything. They literally did not work. All you got to do is go back and look at the history. They did not work the entire time during chattel slavery. They didn't work. So it makes me laugh that these culture vultures are calling Black people lazy. Are you fucking for real? Jack Johnson, all they did was throw their names on whatever the slaves invented. You damn right that was lazy and pathetic. Shoot, they try to steal work from Black people now. Even when I was still working for corporate America, you know how many times they used to try to steal my work? They still do it. Nothing has changed. Whatever their ancestors did, they do it. Nothing has changed. Yeah, that's okay. We can be insects. At least insects can reproduce. At least an insect can reproduce. They can't even reproduce at all. Well, see, Battle X, everything they got it through violence. Everything. They didn't do anything to earn, they didn't earn nothing. That's the thing. They didn't earn nothing. Not one thing. Well, the thing is, my greatness inside of me, if they say we're Americans, then they sure don't say it in their Constitution. And that's usually how I shut them down when they start talking all that nonsense. I mean, we're all Americans until it comes down to your, but why wasn't that written in your Constitution? Why didn't you ratify the 14th Amendment if your intention was to make us all Americans? Well, you know what, Kay? They can't make it without us. That's the bottom line. They have not lived in America without the help of Black people through every single century. And now they're using Black people through the prison system. That's why they keep mass incarcerating the Black man, so he could do all that cheap labor for practically for free now and through the prison system. They have never lived without us, leaning on our labor, leaning on our work. They have not done it even to this day. Now they'll talk all that, go back to Africa. Trust me, if we packed up overnight and walked away from America, there would be no America left. They can't run this place without leaning on the dark races. They can't do it. And they have no track record of doing it. That's the thing. They talk all that shit, and they literally have no track record of running America without Black people being here. Shalom, New Deep. Well, see, you know what, Craig Jarrett? I say if we're going to leave, we just do it. But we do it in a way that it's not obvious. By the time they catch on to it, most of us would be gone. See, that's why they got everybody with passports, because they want to know who's coming and going. And, you know, I was looking at houses over in Africa. Do you know in Nigeria, Ghana, and Cameroon, for $100,000, you can have a big old mansion built. You can live in a mansion for $100,000 over in Africa. 3-car garage, a big mansion, a big mansion for just $100,000. You certainly won't be spending a lot of your money like you are now, because every cost of living and everything is cheaper. And I was reading how like an acre of land, you can get a whole acre of land for like $1,500. It's really dirt cheap. And then I was looking at a 6-bedroom house. Looks just like a house that you would see in the suburbs here in America. In Uganda, is like $20,000 for a 6-bedroom house in Uganda. You know, that's why I'm saying we need to be looking over in Africa, because many of us that are struggling to live in America, you probably be living very comfortably over in Africa. Right. No property taxes over in Africa. A lot of things that we have to do here in the States, you don't have to worry about doing all that mess over there, Too much red tape. And plus I was reading getting loans are a lot easier in Africa, is less red tape if you want to get a loan. Over here they make everything difficult, but it's much easier over there. I did too, Jerome. I knew as soon as I saw the first article I read, it said lone wolf. And as soon as I saw the words lone wolf, I knew instantly it was a white man. I knew it. I knew it instantly. I knew instantly it was a white man. Well, yeah, beginning, they make billions every single year off of the sports and entertainment industry. In fact, it's practically what's keeping America going. No, Craig Jarrett, and they're not going to call him one either, unfortunately. This is just the way it is. And as long as they own the media, you're not going to hear those things come out of their mouth. Did you hear about the brain damage our brothers? No, I didn't hear about that at the beginning. Oh, yeah, I would love to see the Black Panther. Definitely. I would love to see that movie. Oh, yeah, something that crazy. Yeah, using the eyes as click clacks. Come on. Yeah, no, that's nothing that Black people would come up with, some nonsense like that. Unfortunately, cooning is very big in the Hispanic community. I think some of them actually woke up from dealing with Trump. And just like with Black people, Hispanics got their sellouts too. And and it's the vast majority of them, unfortunately. We didn't ruin America. They actually did. They're just deflecting my greatness inside of me. They're just deflecting. We didn't ruin anything. We built this place. They wouldn't have it if it wasn't for our people. It wasn't for our ancestors. Plain and simple. There would be no they wouldn't even be here in America if it wasn't for us. Yeah, they got the Spaniard blood, and they also have the Black blood in them as well. But you notice they only want to acknowledge the Spaniard blood. And if they went to Spain, the Spanish can't stand the Hispanics. They hate them. They get dogged out badly over there in Spain. Yeah, Aaron Hernandez. Yeah, didn't he hang himself in prison, I think? Yeah, he did. Yeah, well, the Hispanics are just the bastard children. That's really all they are. And see, the Caucasoid population only are interested in them for, population count, really. Other than that, you notice they don't look out for them at all. They don't even take up for them when they get in trouble. A dark star transmission, unfortunately, a lot of Hispanics are like that. Even the Mexicans, they'll sleep with the black women and kill the brothers. That's just something they do. Well, a lot of people on this planet are walking around and they're the product of rape. I mean, look at the Arabs. The Arabs come from rape. That's really where they come from. The Ottoman Turks going into Egypt and raping all the women. They came out with that mulatto looking Arab. That's where that mulatto looking Arab comes from. He's a product of rape. Well, you know what it is. When they came over here to the mainland, and initially they were rejected by the white community altogether. But when they saw they could benefit from counting them as white, that's when they started doing it. But really, when it all comes down, they don't care about them. They never did. They just don't want to face the fact. The Hispanics don't want to face the fact that they have been used. They've been used and now they're being discarded. They don't care about them. They never did. Well, Jerome Davis, that's our problem. We have not learned how to practice racism. Black people just need to learn how to practice racism and keep everybody out that don't mean us any good. If they don't have the Black community's best interests at heart, then we don't need any outsiders around us, period. That's because she's having a baby with a man with dominant genes. And so, no, not unless Black men are having problems, having children, which is not the case, then it does make sense that he would be able to have children with his white woman. It's not going to be so easy for them when they get here. You know, a lot of them over in Puerto Rico are coming to the mainland now because there's no electricity in Puerto Rico. A lot of them are catching planes and coming to the mainland. And you know, Trump was complaining about that too. He don't want them here. He don't want them here. And see, they're seeing for the first time that they're not being embraced by coming here, but a lot of them are going to end up in the mainland. In fact, I was reading an article that said the schools in America better get prepared for all of the Spanish speaking kids coming in from Puerto Rico. So now you're going to have an influx of all these Puerto Ricans coming here because they can't be out there on that island for 6 months with no electricity. So they're making their way to mainland. So you're going to see a lot of them walking around you over these next few weeks and months. And many of them may not go back to the island after 6 months. They may not want to go back. They may want to stay on the mainland. And plus, I really believe it's going to give these Caucasoids a chance to gentrify Puerto Rico. I really do. I think they're going to clean that place up, and you're going to see an influx of white people going to Puerto Rico to live. I really believe that. They're not going to clean that island up and just hand it back over to those Puerto Ricans. They're going to clean the island up and build it back up, and you're going to see a whole bunch of white people going there. You watch. Yeah, I really believe gentrification is going to take place on those islands, especially if the U.S. is going to be pouring out money to build Puerto Rico back up. You can best believe white people are eyeing that place right now. They're eyeing it right now. Even the ones that go back, they're going to have to go back on that island and live with a whole bunch of white people. That's what's going to happen. And you hear how Trump is talking. They owe money. They owe money to Wall Street. See, that's going to be their excuse to go in there and start taking over that island. You watch. Puerto Rico is never going to be the same. Yeah. And quite frankly, I don't think they care that they're killing off the Puerto Ricans. I was listening to Roland Martin. He had a man on there talking about the situation in Puerto Rico, and he said they're downplaying the number of dead. They keep getting on the news in America claiming it's 16 dead. He said it's way more than 16 people dead on that island. And each day go by where they don't have any food or water or anything, they're dying. And you know, Jay-Z, I think it was Jay-Z and another artist sent a plane full of food and water over there, and I think it made it there yesterday. But of course, it ain't enough to feed everybody there, but I think they sent like 200 tons of food or something like that. And he, you know, it's amazing how, yeah, Fat Joe and Jay-Z. And it's amazing how Trump can't get nothing there, but they got everything there yesterday. That just go to show you how sorry America is when it comes down to this situation. Hi, Lord Maul. Yeah, you better believe the beginning. It is karma. It is karma. It is karma. That is the truth. And who knew karma would take place, wipe them out in one day? Took the They had one Hurricane Irma that wiped out over 1 million on the island of electricity and homes. And then didn't the Most High send a second storm behind that one and took everything out? Woo, that was no joke. They got hit with a Category 4, and that was Irma. And then Maria slammed into them at a Category 5. And I saw those smashed up homes and everything on Puerto Rico. It's a lot of smashed up homes. He might have been saying that at one time, Black Lady of Chaos and Havoc. I don't think he's mouthing those words now that he's seen how Trump has treated those Puerto Ricans. I think all the all live matter chattering is gone. Because another one that was saying that bullshit was Jennifer Lopez. She ain't talking that shit no more. Yeah, they were all talking all that all lives matter. They were talking that shit. I guarantee you they won't get their asses back on Twitter saying that mess no more after they seeing how everything is going in Puerto Rico. And I was hearing that Jennifer Lopez says she hasn't heard from none of her relatives on the island since Hurricane Maria. She can't even reach out to her people. She don't know how they're doing. But I think the Hispanics are going to be. You won't be hearing all that all lives matter crap from them anymore. I think this was a hard lesson they had to learn. Trump showed his real true colors, and don't think that's only Trump. Okay, for one moment, there's a lot of caucasoids that feel the same way Trump do about those Puerto Ricans. And I can tell you, when more and more of them are coming over to mainland because they don't have no power, wait and see. They're going to be facing some serious racism. You watch. You just wait and see. They're going to get plenty of nigger moments here on the mainland. Plenty. Oh, I don't think J-Lo's going to be talking that all lives matter bullshit no more. She's singing a whole different tune now that Puerto Rico is getting treated like trash by Trump. She ain't talking all that mess no more. None of them are. They seriously got their wake-up call. And then the way he's fighting with that mayor, how you gonna cuss somebody? How you gonna fight with somebody and you didn't even help them? Trump didn't help. They're still trying to get the food and supplies to Puerto Rico, and he's up here arguing with the mayor. Well, New Deep, you know what? We ain't got to tell them nothing else. I think they got the picture now. I really do. I think they got the general picture now. Believe me, when they start dragging, a lot of them are coming to the mainland. I promise you, as they get here, they gonna get more nigger treatment when they get here. They gonna get treated just like dirt. And plus, you know, a lot of times the white people use the Puerto Ricans to turn on us. But see, where I don't forgive a lot of them, they joined neo-Nazis and going against black people. And because of that, they pretty much killed any kind of relationship they could have had with black people at this point. You know, the Hispanics and even the Mexicans, they all joined forces with neo-Nazis against black people. And see, nobody's going to forget that shit. Well, CJ, I think they're screwed no matter what. If they come here to mainland like they expecting them to, because they can't be there with no power for 6 months. So a lot of them are being airlifted out of Puerto Rico and brought to the mainland. They're going to get screwed over because, you know, you got Trump and you know the climate of the country right now with Trump in office. So they're going to catch racism here. And by the time they get everything built back up on Puerto Rico, I promise you it's going to be a lot of white people there. It's not going to be the same. The devils are going to gentrify that island. That's what they're going to do. They're going to look at it as an opportunity for them to go down there and take it over. So even the ones that want to go back, it will never be the same. So they're going to get screwed all the way around. Because Trump is looking at dollar signs. That's why he mentioned, oh, well, Puerto Rico owes Wall Street all kinds of money. So they're going to look at it like this. Since you owe all this money and you haven't paid all this money back to Wall Street, we're going to go down there and just take whatever land we want and build what we want. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Yeah, they're going to go over there. They're going to put all kinds of expensive homes there and all kinds of stores and everything to make the white man comfortable living there. But you can best believe they're going to take over that island. Yeah, they are. They are. They don't know how bad they got it right now. And like I said, it's only going to get worse for them. But hey, let it happen. They need to get a dose of their own medicine. Let them experience it. You know, a lot of people are calling them Puerto Ricans. I've seen that. I've heard that a couple of times. Oh yeah, they're make no mistake about it. You know, it's just like the Chinese are now taking over Jamaica. You're going to see a lot of Gentiles going down there and completely gentrifying the islands. The only ones I kind of feel sorry for are the U.S. Virgin Islands, where there are a lot of black people, because they're in the same shape that Puerto Rico is in. It's just that Puerto Rico is getting all the publicity. You know, and it may be happening to them too on the U.S. Virgin Islands, where they're going to go in there and, well, the U.S. is pouring money down here to build it up, so we're just going to come in and take whatever we want. And that's how these demons think. This is their thinking. This is how they think. They just going to look at all of that damage down there and see it as an opportunity to build that place up for white people. And that's exactly what they're going to do. No, Jerome, they didn't work hard for nothing. Like I said, it's recorded in history that they did not work during slavery. They didn't do shit. That's why I laugh when they try to sit in our faces trying to perpetrate, I work so hard. No, you don't. They had everything handed to them. They didn't work for nothing. Even when they came here, it's recorded. You know, they had the Head Right program where they came over here to America from Europe and got free land. They didn't work for shit. And it's the same situation everywhere all over the globe. Even when they went into Australia and South Africa, they went into those places and got the land for nothing. And that's why Mugabe is retrieving the land back from them, because they went into Zimbabwe back in the day when it was Rhodesia and White Rand, and they gave them all that land free of charge. And the reason why Mugabe is taking the land back is because, number one, a lot of Black people lost their lives when they got ran off of the land. Many of them were trying to fight it, and they ended up getting killed. And then the white people went in there and took over the land. That's why now, if you notice, Mugabe says no Black person will go to jail for killing a white. That's because they killed the Black people to get that land. So now he's doing it back to them. I wouldn't be surprised, More Nation. I would not be surprised if that's the case. I mean, you got to look at Hurricane Katrina. When all of those Black people got moved into other states, many of them did not go back into New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, Mugabe is a hero. I agree with that. 1,000% I agree with it. But I mean, that's all they do. They just go around every place these caucasoids are on this planet, they colonize. That's how they got it. They didn't earn nothing. They didn't pay for nothing. They everywhere you see them, especially if they're around dark people, they're there because they colonized the place. They're parasites. Yeah, they were calling them refugees. Absolutely. Shoot, they ain't even calling the Puerto Ricans refugees. They just want them people gone. Shoot, Trump was talking about blocking them from coming to the mainland. He was talking about blocking them. He really don't want them here at all. But where else are they going to go? They can't stay on that island. It's going to take them a long time to build that place back up. Yeah, you know, some of them ended up here in New Jersey too. I come across a few people from Louisiana that are living, that've been in New Jersey since. They actually went to all the different states across the country. They went everywhere, actually. I met some in New Jersey. I met some in Georgia. When we had a family reunion, when I went down there, I met some people from Katrina that were living in Georgia. And there were some that moved up here in New Jersey that I met. That's up to the Africans. I don't know why they're so scared of these people. They should have ran them out a long time ago. No, they're not, and unfortunately most African leaders are also coons. If you don't believe it, just listen to some of them. Most of They are nothing like Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe is like in a class all by himself. And I'm not exaggerating. He's in a class all by himself because the rest of those African leaders are coons. Yeah, it's a lot of corruption. Look, there's corruption going on in Jamaica. Look at how they're letting the Chinese take over Jamaica. And see, the Jamaicans are all upset. They need to go after the Jamaicans at the top, the rich ones that sold them out. But the Chinese are literally taking Jamaica completely over. They got sold out by their own people that sold all that land to the Chinese. Now the Chinese think they're just completely overtaking that island. And that's why I'm saying, the especially Puerto Rico, they gonna really go in there, and I'm telling you, those Puerto Ricans aren't gonna be able to go back once they leave out of that mainland and them white folks go over there and start building it up. They are not going to be able to get their homes and their land back. Yeah, well, they do that everywhere, but you know what? It's going to be harder and harder for them to gentrify every place, especially if you're dying out. And it's going to get to the point where they will not have the numbers to do the things that they're doing now. So they better do it while they can and can enjoy it, because genetically they are failing. Yeah, right. It's like saying there were good people on both sides during the massacre out there in Nevada. It's just the way it is. I'm tired of it too. I'm tired of coons. I'm tired of this Gentile world. I'm tired, but unfortunately, we're going to have to hold on and endure a little longer. Do you know Dark Star Transmissions? I was reading they are thinking about using fentanyl in lethal injections now, because I guess they see how well it's killing people. The prisons are now thinking about using it for executions. Well, it'll definitely kill people. We know that. No, that's okay. If they take over Puerto Rico, that's good. That's just another hot place for them to burn up in. So it's okay if they take that over. They're gonna burn up. They can't even keep themselves burning up in the mainland of United States. Yeah, I agree, Lord Maul 3. I wish I wish something would come through here and clean out all the coons among us. That would be great. All right, y'all. I'm gonna cut this live stream. I'm so glad you all came. Just wanted to chop it up a bit with you and go over some of the things that happened. Boy, I never got so many thumbs down before in my life, but I think it's hilarious. I was not upset at all. But like I said, it just go to show you how many of these devils were watching my videos all this time. It just shows you how many were. It just brought them out of the woodwork. They came out like roaches when I start commenting and blasting them about the shooting in Nevada. So I was like, okay, so this many of you are watching me. Okay, so now I know the deal. All right, y'all take care. And I will see you on the next video. Shalom.